Welcome to Just Relationships, the show that offers you concrete ways to make your relationships better. Whether it's your boss, your spouse, your children, or your friends, the quality of your relationships in life directly affects how you feel about yourself and the success you achieve. Your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer, a psychotherapist, telecoach, author, and seminar leader, will interview top experts to help you learn to manage this essential part of your life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer.
Greetings to you. Well, if you listened in last week, you will know that you were in for a treat, that this is part 2 of a 2-part interview with Susan RoAne, renowned best-selling author, who has written How to Work a Room, The Secrets of Savvy Networking, and many other articles and books. And she is also a professional speaker and a trainer and a seminar leader and a consultant. And she wants you to know that she's also now started to cook. And the reason I invited, not only because she's my friend and I love to have any excuse to talk to her, but because she's also known as the mingling maven. And I hardly have met someone, Susan, who connects the way you do with human beings. And I wonder how you manage to stay connected to so many people and in such a personal way.
And you know what? Thank you for saying that, because I remember back years ago when I started my business, having someone say to me, you know, you don't have a business personality. And I'll never forget that. She said to me, you need to have a business persona. And I literally thought about it.
Yeah.
And then, as people who heard last week heard me talk about my grandmother, it's like she's like from Fiddler on the Roof, you know, flying my dreams, Grandma Title. I could hear my grandmother say to me, Susan, you have a personality. Why would you need 2? So the next week at the next meeting, she asked me what I thought about what she said. And I said this. I said to her, you know, I'd love to have 2 personalities, my own and one for business. But since I'm 40, I could only remember one. And that is why I do business in a personal way. And I would say this isn't for everyone, but I don't know another way how to be. Some of my dearest friends started as clients.
Yes. Who
hired me to speak. And I'm going, oh, I like that person. Here's why I think this is my scientific answer. This is why I connect.
Yeah.
I think I have Velcro in my DNA.
Oh, that is funny.
But here's the other thing. And I want our audience to know, when you meet someone that you feel a connection. I was just watching my favorite, Stephen Colbert. As he interviewed Keanu Reeves, they're doing a new Bill and Ted's Great Adventure. And
I have to see that.
Yeah. I'm definitely. And how did they meet? And here's how they met. When you talk about a common bond, they both showed up 30-something years ago for the auditions for the original Excellent Adventure. And they both had their helmets from being on motorcycles. And they looked at each other and said, oh, you ride? And it was motorcycle helmets that connected them. And they have literally been friends ever since.
That's the thing. And so we are looking to see how we can communicate better, if we care to, during the COVID crisis. So that's such an important principle you just said, and I want to extrapolate that to our situation now. The idea is, if there's a spark, if you feel that, je ne sais pas, you feel it, and then how do you bridge that gap? How do you say, well, do you want to exchange numbers? You've met someone for an hour and you just click with that person. But as you said last week, the theme is initiate, initiate, initiate. So it's always me who's the one who puts myself out there and says, well, would you like to exchange numbers so we can stay in touch or something? And many people do, but I don't always have the nerve to do that. And I'm so glad you said this, because that's a very, very important thing to do.
You know what? So here's what I say in so many presentations and podcasts. Please initiate.
Yes.
And here's what I say to people is, if you are hesitant and get a little shy of saying, hey, this has been so much fun, love to continue the conversation.
Oh, good phrase.
If you get a little bit skeptical about it, I will be sitting on your left shoulder, whispering in your ear.
Oh.
And of course you can do it, because why let go? Here's what happens with any decision in life that you're pondering. It's, how will you feel later if you don't do it, don't say it, etc. So how many times have I hit my head itself in the forehead? You could have had a V8, which, if you don't remember that commercial.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Because I didn't do something, or I didn't say something. So I'm going to give you permission to carry me around on your left shoulder, because people are waiting for someone else to initiate. And you don't have to say, though it may work for you, would you like to exchange numbers? Because you don't want to hear the, no, thanks. What you do is say, this has been so interesting. I'm so fascinated by what you did. It's so good to meet someone that has a motorcycle helmet, or knows how to play pinochle, or likes, gelato the way I do.
Yes. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah, okay. I'm reminded of my sister-in-law, who won't say hello to anybody. She'll go to a pool and she doesn't say hello to anybody. And I don't know how we started talking about it, but she said, oh, I say hello if they say hello to me. And I think that's basic shyness. And what I do, when we have a place in Florida, and so we have a pool, like a block away, and that's the neighborhood pool, and that's where I meet people, my Florida neighbors. So my husband calls me the mayor, because I walk into the pool and I say hello to everyone. I just, it's not that there's a lot of people there. It's only maybe 4 or 5 people in this whole big pool, which is, my husband and I always joke that we're millionaires, we're multimillionaires. We have our own huge pool. But yeah, that's how I met Peggy Brill, who is a renowned physical therapist and has written on it a couple of best-selling books, Brill, Brill. And so we exchanged numbers and all of that. And she emailed me that she was starting to teach a physical therapy class. I thought, wow, a physical therapy class. That's right up my alley. I want that. So I went ahead and signed up for her class. And then I found out after that for a very small fee, I could have unlimited classes all week, unlimited classes. It has been my saving grace during the pandemic, because it helped me stay fit. Because when I walk, I used to walk a lot with my husband in the beginning, but I stroll, I don't walk. Because I don't have the greatest back. So that's a whole other thing. And I wasn't getting enough exercise, and I wasn't disciplined enough to exercise on my own. And so, but then when I purchased this membership from Vitality Society, I had to, if I would, use it or lose it. They weren't recorded. If you didn't do it on time, like old-fashioned television, you missed it. And that's exactly what I needed for myself. So I attend like 2 exercise classes a day now, and I haven't been this fit in decades. And I have a whole Zoom community because we talk. The owner of it believes in community and always initiates conversation before and initiates conversation after. And then what I do is I just weave my clients around the Vitality Society schedule. So I get to still have my full clinical practice as well as have all these other goodies. So, and this is only from talking to someone I didn't know at the pool.
Well,
yeah.
You have vitality. That's the other thing. So what we want to say to the audience is, to use your word, to extrapolate. And then this is what I wrote in certainly How to Work Room in all my books. And it is what stops us from going into rooms and meeting people, even in Zoom rooms, is what your sister-in-law did. Oh, I'll say hello to them if they say hello first. Number one, it's not that people are snobs, they're shy.
Right, they're shy.
But let's think of this. They always say, was it Mark Twain that said, the smile is something you can't give away, it keeps on coming back.
Oh,
if one of your new plans and new mantras is, I'm going to make sure I'm smiling, which I've discovered in my research, the smile and eye contact is what makes us approachable. If someone is a little shy and feels that they might be an introvert, if they see someone with a smile who's looking at them, they feel they've been invited to approach you.
Very, very good point.
But if you're looking at your shoes or looking at this thing, they ain't coming over to you. So eye contact and smile. But think of it as a kindness. For the last 15 years, I've started to say, when you see that person standing alone.
Yes.
Now it's going to be a little different as we go through COVID and how we're going to reassess how we're together. But even in a Zoom room, there'll be someone who doesn't participate very much.
Right.
You can go to the chat and send them a message. Beautiful. You can do that on the side. I did this the other day. We had a Zoom with 5 of us, and one of the women wasn't saying much. So I just said to her, so tell me what you've been doing. Right. I learned this from our former deputy chief of police when I was writing Secrets of Savvy Networking. I thought there'd be some great intricate networking he could tell me about that they do with the SWAT teams. But he said that his mentor in the San Francisco Police Department was someone who was so special because he shined the light on other people.
Oh, beautiful. I love that metaphor.
So what I would say is when you see someone in a Zoom room, in a real room that's alone, don't think of it as anything other than a kindness when you go to them. Because if they're shy, they're uncomfortable. And when you recognize them, you're giving them the gift of recognition. And this is where we get inclusion.
Which is the number one human need, is inclusion. And a lot of people will not recognize that if they've been excluded in their life and they deny their need for inclusion. But that is the basic number one human need because we're wired for connection. So Susan RoAne, best-selling author, the mingling maven, you just gave me the greatest idea because, in the field of group dynamics, people have different roles. And one of the roles is the gatekeeper. So who comes in, who doesn't? So someone would say, let's hear from people we haven't heard from before. And we want to have everyone get a chance to speak before the people speak a second time. That's gatekeeping. And it's something I do all the time. But the idea of doing it on the chat is absolutely brilliant. And I will definitely take that with me. And I do want to say, Susan, that we are talking about technology. And I have not been good or interested in technology. I was on a steep learning curve with my assistant learning, working virtually and less hours. She did all of the technical stuff for me. And so that was my biggest stress in the beginning of COVID, which is tech stress.
Mm.
So I do want to say that we are dealing with some people being very frightened about using technology, and that Zoom is free, and it's just an app. And do you want to say anything about that? Because last week you called yourself a snob when it came to technology.
Yeah, I was a snob based on, I was the same as you going, oh, I don't like to do this. I was kind of buttons and whatever. My line for people is, I didn't even use a Cuisinart. I thought, hey, a knife and a cutting board. But I had to get up to, necessity is the mother of invention. So I had to get up to where it would be that I could be me and make sure that I stayed in touch with people.
That's the thing.
Now, I do want to say that this is kind of on me. There were a couple of my friends that I wrote them and said, I'm not going to be coming to New York, or I'm not going to be coming to Chicago or to LA, and I'd really love to see you. Can we arrange for a FaceTime or a Zoom so we could have a visit? And four of my friends said, nah, I'm good. I was like, oh my, I thought it was, and then someone said to me, it's probably not you, Susan. They might just feel more comfortable without the visual technology. But I was going, maybe they don't like the fact my hair, I'm not coloring it and it's silver. But yeah. And so you have to recognize there are some people that it is frustrating, but if you think of it as a kindness to stay in touch with people, and I think during plagues and pandemics and earthquakes and hurricanes and whatever have you, we rally together. You know,
we rally.
9/11. We rally. We act as a community. We help people, and then we stop, and everything's okay. So the Susan RoAne thing is, don't stop. And I'm going to tell you something. Even when we all get back to whatever, and it's not going to be back to what it was. It's going to be forward to the new abnormal.
Yes.
Whatever it is, I'm going to still Zoom with friends, Zoom with cousins. And by the way, I wanted to see my girlfriends from grammar school. We meet once a month on Zoom, and we're in 4 states. And tomorrow, my high school friends, I'm not saying that they were my club brothers and sisters, not saying we were gangs, but we did have jackets. And we are getting together like every couple months because we're not having a reunion. And we kind of grew up together. A lot of them are in Chicago, but we're in 4 states. I'm not going to lose that, even when I can go out.
And as you said earlier, you have Velcro in your DNA. And I'm remembering that there are some people who actually have disdain for this. They think something is wrong with someone who holds on to old group situations, and that, oh, you're supposed to move forward. You're supposed to always be in present time and move forward. The past is in the past. I've actually been shamed by some people when I wanted to go back and reunite with a former group. Yeah, I know. I want to bring that up because I do think that some people have that attitude. What's wrong with you that you have to go reconnect with people you already know? Why don't you go out and meet new people? And I'm reminded what I learned in the Girl Scouts. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. So luckily we're on Zoom, so I see your face of being aghast at this belief. Aghast at this belief.
I'm aghast. I was never into Girl Scouts, but one of my friends who was in the Boy Scouts told me that, and I use that in books. It's like there is something wonderful about being together with the people that knew your parents.
Right.
A lot of our parents are gone. That we shared growing up together.
Right.
And we are so at ease and comfortable the people that would shame you, and I'm going to now pull out my Chicago personality, the people that would shame us for getting together with longtime people and reconnecting with them don't have any old friends.
Oh, yeah, there you go. They don't have any. They don't stay in touch. They don't reach out. They don't initiate. And
you know, it's also this. The people that are saying to you, oh, meet new people, sound exactly like the people that I'm going to say I have come to detest on LinkedIn. Someone has told them about the funnel that keep on getting new people and selling your crap to them. We forget this world, and to Dr. Duffy's point of this whole radio show, is about relationships. And make new friends, but keep the old. They perform different functions in your life.
Right. They absolutely do. And I just want to say, Susan, and this is Dr. Duffy Spencer, and I am interviewing renowned author Susan RoAne. How to Work a Room is one of her books, Secrets of Savvy Networking, and we are WHPC 90.3, and we are just relationships. So, yes, and I wanted to say, Susan, that when you said those 4 people you reached out to said, no, I'm good. When, a lot of my counseling clients have trouble connecting with people because, as you say, it's all about relationships. And people ask me, well, what do people who come to counseling talk about? They talk about their relationships. That's what they talk about. So I tell my counseling clients, I have been rejected more than most people. And they look at me and they say, you? How could that be? I say, because I reach out more than most people. And that's what you do. It's just the law of averages. It's just stats. The more people you reach out to, the more chance someone's not going to click with you. And when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, that old expression, well, that's their problem. And now I say, that's their prerogative.
Great.
I don't hold any animosity towards someone who doesn't necessarily click with me back, because people all have what the late Dr. Carl Rogers called a stained glass window that we look out at the world from. Our whole set of values and where we were born and who we were born to and all of that. And that's how people judge you. And who knows? Who knows what would make them not click toward you, but it's nothing personal to you. So your theme in this 2-part series, Susan RoAne, is initiate, reinitiate, initiate, and say yes, right? Say yes a lot.
Yes, and I'm going to add a third. And this this is from Secrets of Savvy Networking. I also wrote a book called What Do I Say Next? Because people work a room and they go, well, I know how to walk into a room. What do I say next to build the conversation? But this is what we have to do in life that makes things happen and builds the relationship. The third part is follow up, follow up, follow up.
There you go. F-U, F-U, F-U.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, my. Now, you heard Dr. Duffy say that, so the next time you use F-U, you know it means follow up.
Yes.
But I want to kind of parse what you said about how you met Brill.
Yes.
And reinforce that for our listeners. And it's because it's the number one roadblock, but it's also the remedy. You, Dr. Duffy, talk to strangers.
Yes.
And, I wrote this as how many of our parents said, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers.
Right.
And Susan RoAne came along in How to Work Room and said, you know what? Talk to strangers. When I was talking about my trip, I was by myself in Rome and in Nice and in Paris, and I was by myself in Istanbul and in Tel Aviv and Israel. I would still be waiting at the bus stop in Rome if strangers didn't help and tell me where to go.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's two ways. Strangers are helpful. Strangers can turn out to be friends. And sometimes the exchange we have with a stranger is only for that moment. But if we look at it as a gift, I sat next to someone on the Champs-Élysées in a restaurant, and we were both next to each other. She was from Japan. She was studying French. Two strangers, two women. She started to talk to me, and we ended up at the end of our lunch. We never exchanged cards. We ended up hugging goodbye.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name. I like that they're stranger only for the moment. And
and they add to your life. And that happens to us when we're at our own home. So here's the other thing. When you see someone that looks like they don't know where they're going, I do this all the time in San Francisco, especially if they're back in the days when we had people visiting us. And it will happen again when I see people in my town and all over the world trying to capture pictures of each other. I would always, whether I had to do it by sign language or try a little bit of whatever language that I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
Like me to take a picture of the two of you.
Exactly.
And because of that, I found out where the best gelato place was in Rome near the Fountain of Trevi. Tell me that is worthwhile information.
Oh, that is wonderful. And I'm always so impressed with people. If my husband and I are somewhere and we're looking to do a selfie, someone will invariably come along and offer to take a picture of us. And I just think that is so wonderful. So, yeah. So you're suggesting to offer to take pictures of people as a way to get to talk to quote unquote strangers.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you talk to strangers, your life will be enriched. Rarely is harm, and you know this from your business and your practice, rarely is harm done to us by strangers. It's often done to us by people we know.
Exactly. That is so true. And I also, I really love the study of words and etymology. And let's look at the word stranger. Strange. That person is strange. They're different, and different is not good. And so I usually say people I don't know yet.
Yes.
People I don't know yet. Because nobody is strange to me in the world. Maybe that's why I became a behavioral scientist. I just love people, and I love connecting, and I love getting to know people, and everyone is interesting. Everyone has a story. If you are willing to listen, people are fascinating to me. To me, they are. Susan RoAne, would you believe that we are done with another show?
Wow.
I can't believe it. Next time you come on, we'll have to have a 3-part series.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. So any parting words, my dear?
These are tough times, this COVID.
Yes.
So my thing is, be safe, take care of yourself, and I learned this from a New York doctor, keep your droplets to yourself. Wear a mask.
Thank you. I needed that. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.